pleasant good day. This is part 3 of our discussion on pricing in the inflationary economy in the year 2025 et sec, that is then following. Because I think it's going to take a good 3-4 years for us to finally get to the point where we can enjoy a little less manic activity. If you remember in parts 1 and 2, we talked about generational differences, not being able to dig us out of this inflationary cycle as quick as what happened in the early 1980s. Number 2, in the second part, we talked about the core group of people in practice that are part of your concern, your best clients, your best employees, your best patients, and what you have to do to make sure you take care of them, and to learn to function with better profitability, but also possibly with less volume, and how that's affecting other entities such as restaurants in North America. And then the third segment, our segment for today, for this third part, is it's not just inflation that affects price. Now, we talked about inflation, too many dollars chasing too few goods and services. That's clearly the definition of inflation. But price is a lot more. Price is supply chain. Price is gouging at the middleman level. Price is gouging at the manufacturing level. And I'm going to use an example, and it's just so obvious. But the car industry as it relates to all of the factors, and I grant you the United States government had its hand in part of the drama, but let's put that aside. I really would prefer not to do that. And the globalists had their hands in it too, and I don't want to talk about that stuff. That's your own perception. But what I am going to talk to you about is the fact that at the manufacturing level, prices from 2019 that zoomed up each year in parabolic rate increases, not linear, but parabolic rate increases, to where we sit in 2025. And the quality of the product that we used to have versus the quality that we have today is diminished so much. And what occurred is that the manufacturing entities, both American and foreign, raised prices at a dynamic level that would be at not mezzo piano, not mezzo forte, but forte and fortissimo, and got away with it. They got away with it because we're in the middle of a pandemic. We needed cars, and we'd do anything to get them. And then what happened? At the dealership level, there was again this effort to try to gouge the public. So we had surcharges, and under the theory that, well, we're not selling as many cars, so let's gouge the guys that we do have. And they had sur fees that are being charged even to this day. Well, that causes troubles because when you pay more for something, for an asset that's as depreciable as a car, and then you pay a sur fee on it, and then that poor soul that's buying the car has got to go out and borrow the money. And then finally, the banks are doing their due diligence and saying, no, you know what, you really can't afford it. They go, sure, we'll loan you the money. And the poor soul gets a loan that they really shouldn't have to buy a car that is truly overpriced, where the quality is diminished from what it used to be, and a powertrain that is questionable at best and not proven. And they're stuck in the middle. Well, I kind of just defined what has occurred. Products have been overpriced at the manufacturing level, at the distributorship level, the middleman level, and then the related costs that apply in the acquisition of an asset, such as the interest expense, which has gone up, and the mere fact that someone was able to garner a loan that really had no business getting that loan, puts that poor soul upside down. And I can't say that our population is financially astute and has been overpriced at the manufacturing level, overpriced at the supply chain parts level, overcharged at the distributor middleman level, and now can't afford it because in an inflationary cycle, their wages just aren't increasing at the same level as the costs that have incurred. Well, all of that being brought together is the reason why prices have gone up. And our prior president, President Biden, was absolutely right when he said that corporate greed, and let's say the greed of many people, whether in corporations, limited liability companies, partnerships, proprietorships, we can get into a whole variety of different areas, but individuals got greedy. And that isn't going to happen anymore. People are just resisting. We're seeing the inventory of cars sitting on dealer lots and being stored in locations which are yet to be named is pretty high, both foreign and domestic. So let's now look at how that pricing structure, the inflationary cycle, the greed and corruption, the supply chain, the pricing level at a multiple different levels, from raw materials to finished goods to assembly, and then finally to distribution, not just in the car industry, but all over North America, has affected pricing. And it's going to take time for us to dig out of it. It's going to take years. We're only starting to find what's happening at the governmental level, thanks to the fine efforts of people who have selflessly put themselves in harm's way and have given a major part of their treasury for the benefit of their fellow man in terms of the intellectual competency to discover what's really going on. And for the average Joe like you and me, it's going to be a struggle. So from the pricing structure, you better ease off a little bit on the rate of increasing. Sure, there's going to be an inflationary cycle. A dollar is not worth as much as it used to be yesterday. There's going to be costs that you're incurring. Your staffing is going to be pushing you towards increasing salaries because they're feeling it. It's nothing that's devastating. It's the reality, the same reality I saw in the 80s. But the fact is that you got to provide quality, you got to provide value, you got to work hard. You got to give up on this idea of quality of life. That's for the trust fund babies. For those of us that work for a living, gosh darn it, we are the bread and butter people that are going to make North America great again. So this is Owen McCafferty. I just want to say thank you so much. I want to encourage everybody, continue to strive, seek, find, and do not yield. We are in a blessed country. We are in an operational opportunity. We are in a wonderful continent in North America. We have all that it takes to really excel, and we have to keep pushing. But just remember, it's not going to be easy. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's certainly not for the lazy. So as the grandson of immigrants from the great country of Ireland, which suffered its own difficulties over these many centuries, I just want to say thank you so much. And thanks for listening. Bye-bye.